Hello, everyone. Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, and I'm entering another contest. There has been quite a few lately. They're fun. I enjoy participating and also, sending shout outs to these other channels that I'm finding, most of which have been around, a bit longer than I have. So, nonetheless, it's nice to continue to meet new personalities in the vinyl community. Now, this one is from Richard McCook's channel and called Richard McCook. And it is Show 2 LPs by 12 different artists that you just don't show very often or at all. And they should be 2 consecutive. So that really kind of narrowed down my choices because there are artists that I have that I don't talk about much, don't show much. I have several of their albums, but they're not sequential. So nonetheless, I was able to find 12. Took me a while, but I was able to find 12 different artists. So that's 24 albums. That's going to be quite a few. So let's get going. And the first one is, maybe this will surprise you because it's a band that gets shown a lot. It's not just shown a lot, but there are a lot of channels that devote a lot of their content to talking about and discussing this band and its influence on the whole rock and roll world and also the different members of the band and how legend they are, etc., etc. And that's going to be Led Zeppelin. And, that's a very common band that people talk about in the vinyl community, but I don't. I really haven't shown. I've got most of the Led Zeppelin albums. I love the band, have always loved the band. But, it's just one of those bands that everybody else talks about, so I don't. And I went with my 2, my favorites are not sequential. This is probably my favorite Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin 3. I really, really like this album and have always liked it. And then first time I got that was I was in junior high school, and then shortly after was this one. I refer to it as Zoso, but it's sometimes called Led Zeppelin 4 or the Symbols and Runes album, and sometimes Zoso. I've just always called it Zoso. Of course, it's got Stairway to Heaven on it, but I think there are a lot of much better songs on here than Stairway to Heaven. Particularly, I like, and some consider it kind of a throwaway, but I like the Battle of Evermore quite a bit, in fact. Okay, next one. I don't talk about these guys much. New Riders of the Purple Sage. Here's their eponymous debut. Great country rock, country acid rock. You got John Dawson and David Nelson and David Torbett, as the core members of the band. But this also recording has Jerry Garcia and Mickey Hart and Spencer Dryden and Commander Cody joining. So really, really good album. I love the song Henry. It's a funny song. Glendale Train is also. This was followed by Power Glide, and not as good. It's in my opinion, one of their weaker albums. Their other albums like Panama Red, etc., that are better, and I have those as well. But except for I don't have Panama Red. But anyway, here, this is, in terms of the sequence, we got Power Glide. All right, then the next one is, which also is an interesting dichotomy, Violent Femmes, their debut, just a great album, just a fun, great album. Blister in the Sun, Please Don't Go, Add It Up. It's just really, really awesome. The interesting thing is, all right, this is a reissue on the Kraft label, and I have found that reissues on that are done by Kraft are really outstanding sonically. Then we go to their second album, which is Hallowed Ground, another really good album. The problem is this is the For Men's with Beard mix, and it sounds better than the other original copy that I had, because it was very scratchy and poppy, but it's just not quite as good. I'll have to give it a listen again. I really haven't listened to it in a long time. Many of these I haven't not just talked about them, but I also haven't been really listening to them. Next ones is, Elton John, is very, well-known artist. Everybody knows Elton John. I don't show him. I don't talk about Elton John very much, but I got two here, the ones that I have in sequence. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, and then, of course, Yellow Brick Road. These were albums released while I was in high school. I certainly remember very vividly, the music on the radio at the time, and how much of an impact the songs, made on, my schoolmates. All right, next one is the Black Keys, and we've got this one here, the Thick Freakness. Yes, Thick Freakness. Really down, dirty, hardcore grunge blues band, and then that was followed by the Rubber Factory. This is probably my favorite Black Keys record. I think this is the one with Stack Shot Billy, and I'd have to go further in to see the track listing. Stack Shot Billy is on this one. Nice cool label on there. I actually came very late to the party with the Black Keys. I was taking a vacation. I was in northern Arizona, and I was in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I had stopped at this, in the morning it was a coffee shop with pastries, and then in the evening it was a bar. And it was close to the hotel I was staying. But the other cool thing was, up at the bar, they had plugs all underneath the bar. So a lot of people, like I did, would go in and bring their laptops and would be doing work while they're, whatever. So at the end of my day, when I was out running around and sightseeing in the Flagstaff and northern Arizona area, I would go to that bar and then plug in my laptop and download my photos, etc. I went there for breakfast too. All right, moving on is Johnny Winter. I don't talk about him very much or show his music, and yet he is one of my favorite guitarists, and managed to see him late in his career at a very small Santa Fe bar. That was for the Third Degree tour. Yeah, for Third Degree. This one is the Progressive Blues Experiment. Love this album. I love the way it was recorded. Very dirty recorded. I think it was probably a live take recording. And it's just, there's some great songs on here, but of course the one that is, where is it? Meantown Blues. Meantown Blues is just, to me, a really great classic Johnny Winter song. And then the album that came out after that was Second Winter. So that is a also outstanding Johnny Winter album. All right, Still in the blues vein is B.B. King. And I believe this was his debut, singing the blues. I got a lot of B.B. King albums, but these two that I'm going to show you are the only ones that I have in sequence. I mean, his catalog is vast. But anyway, the singing the blues, and that was followed up with King of the Blues. So these are wonderful. I met B.B. King. He signed my copy of his autobiography. Super, super, super nice man. And now moving on, we have Jake Bugg. And kind of found out about Jake Bugg by accident. He is from, what the heck is the name of the town in England that's just outside of that coast of Bristol? I think it's just outside of Bristol. Bristol's on the west coast. Brighton is on the south coast. Is that right? Anyway, loved his music, this debut. Really, really strong debut. Great folk singer. And then that was followed up by this one, Shangri-La. Not quite as strong as his debut. Still a pretty good album. It's a little overproduced in my opinion. Other people were kind of messing around with what he was trying to do. It's interesting, the photography on these albums kind of makes him look tall, but he's not. Okay, then we move on to, I think these are going to be in the correct order. We got Donovan Sunshine Superman, and this is a reissue that came out here, on this really cool tangerine, kind of tangerine orange. Of course, with the song Sunshine Superman and Season of the Witch. The thing about, I grew up hearing Donovan songs all the time, and then the second one is Mellow Yellow, and these were all the big, the psychedelic songs, etc., that were coming out. But when you listen to the albums, there's a lot more to Donovan than Mellow Yellow or Sunshine. They're great songs still, but Sunshine Superman or Hurdy Gurdy Man, these songs, they were very popular on the radio, but there's a lot more to him than those hits that he made. Really good singer-songwriter. Okay, next one. Here's a band that I don't talk very much about, but I may be in the future, maybe devoting some more videos, and that's Captain Beefheart. All right, and this is Doc at the Radar Station. Haven't listened to it in a long time. And I'm going to be listening to it tonight. This one, and then this was followed up. This is late in his recording career, and the next one is Ice Cream for Crow. It's been a while since I listened to this, but I remember I really, really, really liked this record. So yeah, I'm going to be listening to these, again tonight. They're going to be in my rotation list tonight. All right, moving on is, let me see if I'm getting these in the right order. These are releases by Anthony and the Johnsons. Now, Anthony has since renamed themselves as Anohni, A-N-O-H-N-I, and now takes on the pronoun she and her. So Anthony and Anohni was born Anthony Haggerty, and born in Britain, and then formed this band in the United States, Anthony and the Johnsons. The Johnsons is a reference to the drag queen and activist Marsha P. Johnson. The first time I ever heard it was recommended to me by a bartender in this very conservative town that I lived in, Holland, Michigan, where I worked at a newspaper. All right, this one is, I'm gonna make sure I get the names right here because is this Crying Night? Was this one Crying Night? All right. Oh, and it's not on here. No, I Am a Bird Now. All right, so this one is I Am a Bird Now. And then this was followed by The Crying Light. Okay. Anyway, yeah, a bartender in Holland, Michigan, because he always knew how to make my vodka martinis with effing vodka. I used to love going in there and I'd say, give me an effing martini. And this is very conservative Dutch religious town. And people would look at me like, why are you cussing like that? But, he knew what I was asking for. It was a vodka martini made with effing vodka. And anyway, he told me about Anthony, and which was weird that he would make this a very obscure reference to me. Very straight bartender, but also he was just a wonderful guy, very open-minded and caring person, and he was a good bartender, in that respect as well. And so I started looking up Anthony's music on YouTube, and I was really quite amazed. I think he actually lent me a CD for a couple nights, and I listened to it, and it was really good. And that's when I started picking up recordings by Anthony and the Johnsons, but she is now known as Anoni. All right, next one, The Residents. Oh, actually, I should start with this one with The Residents. So this was their debut, Meet the Residents. Bit of a take on the Beatles record, Meet the Beatles. This is a reissue of the original. I also have this copy of the original because what they did, the original pressings of Meet the Residents apparently sounded really awful. And so they ended up doing a remastering. And this is what when they released the remastered version, which came out, shortly after the original pressings, it sounded much, much better. So we got that. And then they followed that up with Third Reich and Roll, which is a really, the Residents. Okay, I may start doing some more videos that take a deeper look at the Residents, because talk about iconoclasts. Is it music? Is it art? What is it? Whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, the Residents are brilliant. And they fall in that vein where it's not going to appeal to everybody, especially if you like music that you can listen to and hum along with and tap your toe to. You're not going to get that with the Residents. Just ain't going to happen. You think Trout Mask Replica is a tough listen. Some of these Residents recordings are really, really tough listens. You got to be in the right mood. But anyway, that's my 12 artists, 2 LPs for Richard McCook's contest. Records and artists that I don't show and talk about very much. I know I've talked about a few of them a few times. My channel's only been in existence for a little more than a year, so I likely have talked about them before, but they really don't come up very often. I hope you enjoyed it. And please remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.